This is what we have on a flash basis from the Associated Press. Two priests in Dallas who were with President Kennedy say he is dead of bullet wounds. There is no further confirmation.
I went to Dallas on November 22nd, 1963, when Kennedy was shot. And I thought that every minute of every hour I ever had worked had prepared me for writing about this. This is a marvelous emotion for you to have when a guy with a wife and 2 children gets shot. That is called news reporting.
You know, you have the press conference, and everybody gets the same information. So you all go off and you write it differently, but it's the same pool of information.
Most journalists would have said, fine, I have enough. I have an incredible deadline. But this was the essence of Breslin. Breslin said, no, I don't have enough. I want more. I want more than every other person, every other journalist who's in this room right now. And so he pursued Malcolm Perry, and he got an interview with him where he found out everything down to what the guy was eating for lunch when the call came that Friday afternoon.
He opens up with the doctor who gets called to see if he can save the president's life. And Jackie Kennedy is standing there, and you're in the room, and he's telling their stories.
Malcolm Perry stepped up to the aluminum hospital cart and took charge of the hopeless job of trying to keep the 35th president of the United States from death. He noticed a tall, dark-haired girl in the plum dress that had her husband's blood all over the front of the skirt. She was standing out of the way, over against a gray tile wall. Her face was tearless, and it was set, and it was to stay that way because Jacqueline Kennedy, with a terrible discipline, was not going to take her eyes from her husband's face. She did not cry.
A death in emergency room one just blew the doors off of however people had covered stories like this from the beginning of time in newspapers. What you were basically doing is using the tools of a novelist to tell a news story.
I came to the White House for the day of the funeral, and there were 3,000 reporters there. So I can't make a living here. Everybody's going to have the same thing.
So where does he go? He goes to the cemetery. He finds the poor bastard who has to dig the grave.
A working man, a black man, digging a grave for the assassinated president of the United States. And in the midst of what we're witnessing on television, a parade filled with heads of state following a casket borne on a caisson and horses drawing the casket, you have this piece, and it appears when the country cries together. The whole country cries together.
Clifton Pollard was pretty sure he was going to be working on Sunday. So when he woke up at 9 a.m. in his 3-room apartment on Corcoran Street, he put on khaki overalls before going into the kitchen for breakfast. His wife, Hetty, made bacon and eggs for him. Pollard was in the middle of eating them when he received the phone call he had been expecting.
You're in the home with this grave digger, and you don't even know how he fits into the story. But he wakes up, he gets a phone call.
Polly, could you please be here by 11 o'clock this morning? Kowalczyk asked. I guess you know what it's for. Pollard did. He hung up the phone, finished breakfast, and left his apartment so he could spend Sunday digging a grave for John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Clifton Pollard wasn't at the funeral. He was over behind the hill digging graves for $3.01 an hour in another section of the cemetery. I tried to go over to see the grave, he said, but it was so crowded a soldier told me I couldn't get through. So I just stayed here and worked, sir. But I'll get over there later a little bit. Just sort of look around and see how it is, you know. Like I told you, it's an honor.
Jimmy Breslin wrote that our father earned $3.01 to dig the Kennedy grave per hour. And he came in on his off day, which was Sunday, and I don't think he got overtime for that. But he didn't care about the money. He cared more about being able to perform that honor.
Jimmy revolutionized the column.